Hello everyone, today is 15th of June, now it's 15 past 9 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is, Saturday's news. Update, quite a number of interesting news that I like to share with you for this moment. And I will start with, I will say, main news of entire week and maybe even months or the year. That's how this news gonna go down in history, I guess, because yesterday President of Russian Federation named the conditions for Ukraine peace. I devoted separate video to this topic yesterday, and many members of our community see it, of course, but not all, obviously, and I will just go through some key points that Russian president made there. So according to him, Moscow will conduct negotiations, will agree on meaningful negotiations with Ukraine if, first of all, Kiev regime will declare that it's withdrawing its forces from new Russian regions, Lugansk People's Republic, Donetsk People's Republic, Zaporozhye region and Kherson region, and if Russian side will see withdrawal on the ground, withdrawal of Kiev regime forces. After that, conditions will be set to start meaningful negotiations, and Russia will have several conditions that Ukraine has to meet. First, declaration that Ukraine will not join NATO, and I believe, by the way, every single condition has to be fixed in Ukraine's constitution to have at least some guarantees that this is not just a talk. So all obligations on Ukraine has to be based on legislation there, constitution, legislation, and so on. But anyways, let's continue with the topics. So first of all, Ukraine have to declare that it will not join NATO. It will maintain neutral, non-allied, and nuclear-free status. Also, Ukraine has to recognize Russian sovereignty over their new Russian regions, that being LPR, DPR, Zaporozhye, Kherson region, also Sevastopol and Crimea. After that, world community should recognize this reality, also Russian sovereignty over this region, and once this will happen, collective West should lift their illegal sanctions on Russia. And that's gonna be it. Conflict in Ukraine will end. Extremely generous offer from Russian president to Western ruling class and to Ukraine, to leadership of Ukraine, because this offer, if accepted, will allow the regime to save tens and potentially hundreds of thousands of its lives of its military personnel, first of all, and secondly, this offer from Russian side will allow the regime to maintain statehood of Ukraine, to save statehood of Ukraine. So extremely generous offer. Maybe not everyone realizing how generous this offer is, but it is. But still, as I was expecting, and many people worldwide, including members of our community, of course, this offer was rejected. Zelensky commented on it, and he said that, let's go through this news here. For example, the terms Russian President Vladimir Putin outlined for ending the conflict are an ultimatum to Ukraine and as such unacceptable, Vladimir Zelensky stated while commenting on this issue. Okay, if it's unacceptable, then, it is what it is. Whatever will happen from now on, responsibility will be on Ukraine itself, leadership of Ukraine, and the Western ruling class that runs, that controls Ukraine, basically, and runs its politics, internal or foreign. And therefore, therefore, as I said, by the way, that's how this topic gonna go down in history, and that's how world community gonna see it. Because, well, Russia offered peace, this peace, on very generous terms. This offer was rejected, and once again, whatever will happen from now on, responsibility will be on the Western ruling class, collective West, and Ukraine. That's how world gonna see it. That's how it's gonna go down in history. And Russian Foreign Ministry will make sure that world community is informed well enough. And Lavrov made a statement yesterday that Russian embassies worldwide will provide governments, local governments, with information about this Russian offer, to make sure that everyone understands what is really going on. And of course, by the way, of course, Russian president, Russian leadership knew perfectly well that most likely Western ruling class will not allow Kiev to accept this offer and will reject this offer. That's exactly what happened. Zelensky rejected it. Some representatives of the collective West rejected it, including head of NATO, Stoltenberg, some officials in UK, in US, in some other countries. And, well, it was expected. I believe Moscow knew this perfectly well. But still, whatever will happen from now on, responsibility is going to be on the Western ruling class and the Kiev regime. No one can blame Moscow for that. Timing is also important, of course, because today, on 15th of June, the so-called Ukraine Peace Talk or Ukraine Peace Conference will start in Switzerland. Today and tomorrow, this conference will take place, and well, they may not like it, but they will have to talk about this offer from the Russian side for sure. And also, by the way, also, I guess this very clever, strategically very clever move on part of Russian leadership can be seen also as a indicator that from now on, if offer is rejected, from now on, gloves are off, and Russia will start retaliating with the force. That will be enough to bring her to the senses Western ruling class. I don't know what exactly Moscow is gonna do, but I think we will see some dramatic moves that will force Western ruling class to realize that they are no longer rulers of this world, and they have to recognize other sides also. They have to respect opinions and interests of their other countries also. Let's see. Of course, by the way, if you are interested in more details, yesterday in my second update, I shared relatively more information about it, so you can check that video out. TASS News Agency's report here, by the way, that according to Russian president, about 700,000 Russian military personnel is involved in a special military operation, quite significant number. TASS News Agency's report that yesterday, as a result of Russian precise missile strike, command and control center of the main intelligence directorate of the Ukraine's defense ministry was destroyed in Kryvyi Rog. No details about the number of casualties that this terrorist organization, main intelligence directorate of the Ukraine's defense ministry, suffered. But I guess strike was significant blow to those terrorists and the Kiev regime. RIA Novosti's report also that according to Russian underground in the Kiev or Russian partisans, as a result of precise missile strike, Russian armed forces destroyed yet another military facility in Giuliani military asset of the Kiev regime in Giuliani airfield area in Kiev, and some sources are reporting that Patriot air defense system was destroyed with these strikes. I wonder how many Patriots Kiev regime has left. Maybe even none, I don't know. TASS news agencies report that according to Russian Defense Ministry, during the hostilities on the line of contact in zone of special military operation, Kiev regime lost during this week 12,795 military personnel and dozens of military equipment. Well, huge number, isn't it? Just in a week, Kiev regime lost almost 13,000 military personnel killed and wounded. And I remind you, dear friend, that Russian president recently stated that ratio of KIA and wounded in Ukrainian armed forces are about 50%. Due to low quality of the medical assistance that wounded soldiers, wounded military personnel of Kiev regime is receiving. Let's continue. RT is reporting that Kiev clashes with the West over F-16 training, according to media. So Western donated F-16 fighter jets could be off limited use to Ukraine, as the National Air Force will only have a handful of pilots capable of flying them this year, according to media reports. Kiev's allies in the so-called F-16 coalition intend to deliver as many as 60 of US-made aircraft. This year, however, there will be only 20 fully trained Ukrainian pilots. Politico reported on Thursday. The US and its allies are refusing to make more spots available as people from other nations operating F-16s need them. That's just a handful of pilots, and that's just the pilots, a US official said in an interview with the Defense News. Operating the jets requires maintenance crews and a steady supply of advanced weapons, which are expensive and in short supply in donor states. And then this article continues with the talks about F-16s, Ukrainian pilots, and so on. As if a real issue here is that there are not enough spots to train Ukrainian pilots. This is deception operation, by the way, and I find it strange that RT is failing for this deception of the Western propaganda, or the propaganda of the Western ruling class, because we all know, by the way, that no way anybody in this world, no matter how capable of individual is, no way one may become a professional pilot of the modern fighter jet in just a year. It's just not happening, by the way. One may learn how to take off, how to land, to conduct some basic maneuvers in the air, and that's it. That's it, by the way. No way in 3, 6, 12 months time one may become a fully capable pilot of any fighter jet. F-16, F-15, F-18, French Rafale, Swedish Saab, Russian Su-30s, 35s, you name it. It's just not happening. And therefore, this is a pure deception, by the way. All these talks about F-16s, Ukrainian pilots, and so on, to create this illusion in the public that Ukraine has some pilots, and when these F-16s, if those F-16s will arrive in Ukrainian sky, Western ruling class will have no issue to convince everybody that this is Ukrainian pilots. I mean, just look all these articles, by the way, in the media about training of those pilots and this and that, and this is deception. In reality, of course, we all know that if those planes arrive in Ukraine, they will be operated by Western military personnel, Western pilots, and their Western maintenance crews. It is what it is, man. And Russia was quite clear, by the way, from whichever airfields those F-16s gonna operate within Ukraine or outside of Ukraine, those airfields will be designated as legit targets. So Poland and Romania should think again, do they really need this hit? Because Kiev regime's officials openly are saying that they have plans to station F-16s in neighboring countries. And formally they are pushing narratives that they're not gonna conduct sorties from those neighboring countries. They will fly to Ukraine and they will be armed, and only after that will conduct operations. But come on, man, let's be real here. From whichever airfields those F-16s that are participating in operations against Russia gonna fly, gonna take off, those airfields will be designated as legit targets. That's it. Let's continue. Zliad newspapers report that, Foreign Minister of UK felt bored, I guess. Maybe he was seeking some attention of the media or because for a few days he did not make some crazy statements about against Russia. And, therefore he come up with new initiative to attack Russia every way possible, to attack Russia in terms of financial system, banking system, all sectors of the economy, and also Russian tankers or oil tankers with Russian oil to be detained. Now, when it comes to tankers of the other countries that may carry Russian oil, that's one situation. But when it comes to Russian tankers that are under Russian flag, just try it. Right. This idiot, David Cameron, man, I'm not quite sure he has even a proper school level of education, so therefore he probably don't understand what he's talking about. If one Russian ship will be detained by UK's fleet or fleet of any other NATO member state, that will be total destruction of their shipping worldwide, because Russia will not allow any ships under flags of these countries to move freely in just about anywhere. Do they understand what is going on here? Do they understand that Russia is not some kind of banana republic or client state of the West? Russia is a nuclear superpower with quite strong capabilities. But anyways, maybe this is just a talks and nothing will be done. But once again, if Western ruling class will start now detaining ships with Russian oil and including ships with the Russian flag, then that will mean that shipping worldwide will be distracted and logistical chains will break down, because of course Russia will retaliate. And dozens, maybe hundreds of ships of the NATO member states will be detained by Russian side. And what they gonna do about it? These swords, by the way, they are double-edged swords. But this level of people, like this idiot David Cameron, man, these stupid people have no abilities of complex thinking. They cannot deal with some complex issues. They are too primitive. It is what it is, man. Also, RIA Novosti's report here that Trump commented on deployment of Russian warships in the Cuba, frigate Admiral Gorshkov and nuclear submarine Kazan that are armed with hypersonic weapon systems, cruise missiles, and also hypersonic missiles that are capable of reaching Washington, for example, from Caribbean, let's say, in just about few minutes time. US air defense systems will not even have time to track those hypersonic missile systems. Nothing to be said about absence of any reliable means in hands of Pentagon to intercept Russian hypersonic weapons. They just cannot deal with those weapons. But anyways, I'm quite sure there will be no full-scale conflict between Russia and NATO, Russia, and US, and therefore I'm not really worried that much that we're gonna end up in a third world war tomorrow. Definitely not tomorrow, by the way. Anything may happen in 10-15 years time when US will, when Western ruling class, let's say, will start war with China, or with provoke conflict with China. But right now, no risks, no real risks of third world war, I will say. Although tensions may escalate for some time still. But anyways, Trump reacted on the deployment of Russian warships in the Caribbean, and said that this is due to weakness of the Biden, because no one respects Biden worldwide. Well, I don't know what Trump will do if Russia will send its warships into Cuba. I mean, what he will do? I mean, let's be real here. Cuba is a sovereign state. Russia can cooperate with Cuba anyways finds it necessary. I mean, anyways, both sides will find it necessary. And also, I mean, Russia has vessels that can stay in the ocean for months and months. I mean, nuclear submarines can stay in the ocean indefinitely, basically. As long as they have some food supplies, they can stay there indefinitely. I mean, these are nuclear-powered submarines. But anyways, when it comes to Trump's comment about weakness of the Biden's administration and that worldwide no one respects this administration or Biden himself, I mean, Trump is correct, I guess. Who has any respect for Biden's administration, man? In US, majority of the US citizens have no respect for this administration. Why would there anybody else outside of the US will have any respect for them? I mean, let's be real here. From outside of US, for example, I see Biden's administration as the worst possible enemies that US might have, because they are destroying US from within. That's my reading of the big picture. I don't know how other people are seeing actions of the Biden's administration. But to me personally, I mean, this is worst what happened to US for decades and decades, by the way, this administration. And therefore, I mean, many people here in Russia may well prefer, for example, Biden's administration to remain in power, because they are destroying US, and US, by the way, unfortunately, is acting as an enemy of Russia, which is very unfortunate, man, very unfortunate. After all, historically speaking, Russia was one of the few countries that supported US when it declared independence from empire, from British Empire. Russia was one of the few countries in this world that provided meaningful assistance for their new republic. I'm not quite sure that many people in US know about it, but you know, and I really don't see why should Russia and US be hostile states, man. I really don't understand why we should be, I mean, our country should be hostile states, man. Russia don't want it, and Russian leadership is quite clear about it, that these hostilities are generated by Western ruling class because Russia has no hostile attitude towards the West. US, Canada, I don't know, European states or Australia, New Zealand, I mean, you name it. Russia really don't have any hostilities. I mean, Russia will react on hostile actions, but I mean, there is no hate here towards West, man. It is what it is. We should cooperate, but you know, tell this to the political elites in the West. Anyways, let's continue Renovostis report, and wow, you're gonna laugh on this news, by the way. G7, as you know, in Italy, there was G7 summit these days, and you know what they come up with? Formally, G7 was created as some kind of group that's supposed to work on economical issues. Economy, finances, banks, that kind of stuff. But in reality, G7 is now just yet another platform for political shows, really, and only political statements are made, or politically motivated statements that has nothing to do with the real economy. And this summit in Italy was no exception. And they come up with a demand, by the way. You may not believe this. They come up with demand that Russia should pay some 486 billion US dollars as a compensation to Ukraine. That's what these people come up with. After having meetings for a couple of days, that's the message to this world, that Russia should pay some 486 billion US dollars to Ukraine as a compensation. Crazy, man. Crazy. Are these people even understand in what positions they are? Are they even have enough intellect to understand that they are embarrassment of their own countries? I mean, really, they are embarrassment of their own countries. All of them. With no exception, man. How, man? How are you gonna come up with this nonsense? When you know that this is total nonsense, why are you airing this? And why you are, making entire world laugh at you? I don't know. Something is wrong with these people, man. I don't know. Something really, really wrong with this so-called politicians or political elites of the West. Many of them, majority of them, I will say. RTs report that EU members disagree on new sanctions against Russia, according to Reuters. So Brussels has failed to agree on the new round of sanctions against Russia because of Germany's opposition to the proposal plan to punish companies doing business with Moscow. Reuters reported on Friday, citing EU diplomats. According to Reuters, EU members were scheduled to discuss the sanctions on Friday evening, but the issue was withdrawn from the meeting agenda at the last moment. The potential restrictions would have included a ban on the transit of the Russian liquefied natural gas and plans to crack down on the evasion of the sanctions by holding EU operations liable for violations by subsidiaries and their partners in third countries. According to Deutsche Press agency, Berlin fears that German companies could be hit by proposed regulations and wants to limit the responsibility of subsidiaries to certain goods or remove it altogether. So, well, German economy, we all know, by the way, the German economy is on the edge of recession. Some economists arguing that German economy is in recession already. Same goes for the economy of France and the United Kingdom. And, well, I'm not at all surprised that maybe some people in economical bloc of the German government are realizing dire situation of their economy and beginning to push back a little bit on these crazy policies of the Brussels, because with these sanction wars, they are hurting strongly their own economies of the European states, and eventually that means pressure, increase financial and economical pressure on ordinary citizens. And after all, Germany is a locomotive of the EU's economy. If Germany's economy is in bad shape, that means that EU's economy is feeling this and also experiencing significant decline. But yet again, let's see if Berlin will manage to protect its businesses that still are operating in Russia, directly or indirectly through subsidiaries. I have some doubts about it, because after all, current government, so-called government of Germany, is in reality is US, UK representatives, colonial representatives, and not really servants of the German people. And therefore, eventually, if Washington and London will order Scholz to agree on whatever decisions will be cooked by Brussels bureaucrats. That's exactly what's going to happen. That was the case before every time, and that's going to be the case in the future also, until German people will reclaim their own country and sovereignty. Anyways, let's continue. RT is reporting that Ukraine is about to buy US gas for the first time. How long is this update, man? Oh, it's 30 minutes already. So Ukraine is about to buy US gas for the first time. Ukraine's largest private energy company said on Thursday that it had signed comprehensive deal with the US firm to deliver liquefied natural gas to Ukraine and Eastern Europe. The deal marks the first major agreement to supply the LNG to Ukraine as Kiev seeks to boost its energy security and reduce Russian energy dominance in the region. Well, okay, I mean, Ukraine can buy gas from anybody. It's their right. But point is that Ukraine has no infrastructure to work with the liquefied natural gas. So therefore, this not LNG will be directed to Europe first, then processed, and after that through existing pipelines will be delivered to Kiev regime. At least that's a map that might be used, because Ukraine itself cannot deal with LNG. But once again, what is the point to pay? I mean, hugely more for US LNG than they can buy gas on the EU market. What is the point to buy LNG from US? And point is that Kiev regime, by the way, is trying hard to pretend that they have some meaning for US. That's all it is, man. Kiev regime is trying hard to abuse Ukraine any way, shape, or form possible to please US, to maintain US support. That's all, really. You know, because no real need, no objective reality is dictating these kind of decisions to Kiev. They can buy gas in Europe on European spot market. It's not a big deal. But anyways, they can do whatever they want. Who cares? Really. And if I may, dear friends, I still have some number of news, of course. You know what? I will go through this news also, at least some headlines. So Putin, by the way, presented also a new idea that initiated basically idea that new security system should be created in Eurasia to counter some destructive policies of some geopolitical players. And well, this is only initiative. It's initial stages, but eventually I would not be surprised at all if in 3 to 5 years time we will see some increased cooperation in terms of security on the Eurasian continent, and maybe even some military alliances. For now, all the major countries in the region are declaring that they are not moving towards military alliances, but if necessary, who knows? You know, who knows? Maybe we will see some military alliance that will unite Russia, China, India, Pakistan, by the way, surprisingly, because I mean India has difficult relationships with China, with Pakistan, but still, by the way, in the long run, of course, all the issues has to be resolved, and after all, regional security is a strategic interest of all countries of the region, and therefore anything is possible. And many countries, many other countries also may join this new security umbrella that might be created. It may not be called military alliance, but as long as countries will cooperate in terms of maintaining defense and security of the region and stability of the region, then, well, that will be good and beneficial, of course. And Vzglyad newspapers report that Thailand officially confirmed its intent to join BRICS. Foreign Minister of Thailand personally deliver official letter from the Thailand about this intent to join the BRICS to Lavrov, to Russian Foreign Minister. This happened during the recent summit of the foreign ministers of the BRICS member states in Nizhny Novgorod, I believe. So yes, it's interesting news. Earlier we knew that Thailand was working, or Thailand basically approved the letter that should be sent to BRICS about joining this organization, and now this letter already been delivered and it is official. I believe Thailand will benefit hugely becoming a member of the BRICS, and BRICS member states will also benefit, all the countries, by the way. That's why BRICS is so popular, because it's not a centralized some structure. It's organization that based on bilateral respect, you know. Artists report here that Chinese car sales tops those of US rivals for the first time. Quite interesting news, by the way. So Chinese auto manufacturers have sold more cars than the US counterparts for the first time last year, according to report issued by researcher Jato Dynamics on Thursday. Data shows that Chinese brands led by Shenzhen-based BYD sold, and BYD is, by the way, biggest production of EVs, these electric vehicles. So Chinese car manufacturers sold some 13.43 million new vehicles last year, while US brands sold about 11.93 million. So yes, Chinese companies overcome US in this regards, and closing in now to Japan. Although of course Japan is, has huge leading in this regard, because Japanese brands maintain their leadership, selling 23.59 million cars globally. So yes, Japanese brands, they are doing quite okay. But still, by the way, interesting, isn't it, that well, Chinese car manufacturers are beginning to dominate this world. And here in Russia, by the way, you can clearly see this process, especially now when car producers of the collective West left. Of course, Chinese companies use this opportunity to establish themselves on the Russian market, and they are flooding this market with their cars, man. Nicely looking cars, quite okay cars, price-wise, and also quality-wise, price quality, you know, in terms of price quality. And there is too many of Chinese cars now, man. I still don't remember names of the brands. Just few of them, like Geely or something like that, which is part of some bigger corporation. Maybe Geely not even exists no more, and it's clearly was fully was integrated in some other company. Also Haval, there are some cars like Haval. BYD, nowadays everyone heard about BYD. And yes, I'm still struggling with those brands, to remember those brands that producing this plenty of cars worldwide. But give it another year or two, and they're gonna become main force on the car market. Also interesting news that Coca-Cola applies to register its trademarks in Russia. Quite interesting, isn't it? Maybe Coca-Cola wants to come back on Russian market. Maybe they had enough of this sanction wars and stuff. Or I don't know, maybe they want just to protect their trademarks, because here in Russia, in supermarkets, in shops, you can see plenty of these colas that simulate trademarks of the Coca-Cola. It's true, by the way. There are plenty of companies that are producing these lemonades, these drinks that are, simulating this writing of the trademarks of the Coca-Cola, basically. So maybe this is the reason that they want to protect the trademark, but I mean, who are they? This is Russian market. Russian companies can do whatever they want, as long as they are operating in the framework of the Russian legislation. Coca-Cola, I don't care about Coca-Cola, man, and the trademarks. They left Russia, and if it was up to me, man, I would think twice before I would allow them to come back on Russian markets if they want to. And one day they will apply for it. They will try to return to Russian market, and well, I don't know. I don't think Russia will refuse to allow foreign companies to come back on market, but I guess there will be some demands from the companies to invest at least a certain level of certain volume of to conduct certain volume of investments into economy before they are allowed to operate here. That would be right approach, because after all, Russia didn't force them to leave this market. They did it themselves. Of course, under pressure of the political class of the West, but still, So yes, this is it for now. Relatively longer update, but hopefully you will find it interesting, informative, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary. Let's fight this algorithm, by the way. More likes and comments are only way we can try and deal with it to reach a wide audience. And for very same reason, if you can, please share information about my channel with your friends in real life and on internet platforms that you are actively using. That will be very helpful, of course. And finally, if you find this channel interesting, informative, useful, if you think this channel deserves to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal, Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. This week, only Wednesday, I had some donations, isn't it? Rest of the week is so yes, yes, support will be, okay, I mean, forget about it, man. So yes, have a great day, by the way, and take care. Bye for now.